What's up guys, today I'm going to show you how to change a Game Boy Color screen to a IPS backlit LCD screen, which also has interchangeable color palettes, which is a neat touch, and you can adjust the brightness of this as well. So this screen brings new life to your Game Boy Color. It replaces the dull non-backlit screen, and this is just super crisp and clear compared to the old one. And also this is a full-size Game Boy Color screen. Some of these LCD screens that you can get online, they're not full-size. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to replace this screen from scratch to make it look like something like this. Right, so here is all of the stuff that I need to change the screen. So we have our PCB board, our IPS screen, some extra cables for the touch sensitive pads up here. Came in this little box, and we also have the bezel as well. So to start off, I'm going to open this up, I'm going to remove the game, take the batteries out, and we have 6 tri-point screws here, so we just need to remove them. Okay, once all 6 tri-point screws are out, just pop it open. Now we need to take the whole board off. I'm going to pop the power button out, and then remove this ribbon cable here. Just pop the tabs up, just disconnect it. Okay, now we're just going to take out the 3 Phillips head screws that keep the motherboard in place. Okay, we also want to take the IR cover off. And if you do want to take the bezel off, then you can put some isopropyl alcohol and then just lift it out. But I'm going to keep this one here. And now we just need to make adjustments to the casing itself. We need to cut out this bit, this line here, just a little bit off the top left of the D-pad, or top right from this side. Okay, so I just got my clips here. These are like wire cutters, and I'm going to just go slowly and carefully. Try not to rip anything because you don't want to damage any other part of the casing. You can see where you cut it. It kind of cuts quite easy because you can see the white outline where you've cut or where it's loose. So you just want to gauge on that and just kind of wiggle. It is slowly coming out. So yeah, try not to be too forceful with your clips, wire cutters. And that's the bottom bit off. You can sand it down as well if you want to make it nice and smooth. Also need to cut this line here and these 3 ridges. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. Now I'm just going to get a metal pry tool and just kind of scrape where I've cut, just to flatten out any sharp edges. Okay, I'd say that's pretty good. I mean, it's not the cleanest, but it'll do. Okay, so I've got the new screen now. What we're going to do is we're going to apply some double-sided sticky tape on the top and the bottom and attach this insulation film at the back of the screen. Okay, just quickly put it together just to make sure it all works. It looks pretty good so far. You can toggle through all the different colours, so looks like it works, and I'm happy with that. So we can carry on with the assembly. Alright, so we can now assemble everything back together now that it definitely works. So now's also a good time to clean out your Gameboy Color. You can probably use a Q-tip and clean out some of the contacts using some IPA. Just go around the contacts, and well, this is a new case, but if you have an old case that you're working on, it's a good idea to clean out the battery compartment, and this should just slide out, and also where the buttons are. In my case I don't really have to do that because this case is, like I said, basically new. If you're wondering which one this is a glow-in-the-dark housing, clear green or blue I think it was. Okay, there's one little adjustment I need to do with this D-pad. I just need to trim off a little bit here. So about that much is what I've trimmed off. Put that back. Start putting the buttons back on. And I'm going to grab my screen, give it another wipe. And now the double-sided sticky tape that we cut earlier, we need to place these top, I believe. Okay, so the double-sided tape is on both ends of the screen. Now we're going to place it down. Try and get it as far on the left Should be okay. Guessing this is why we needed to cut that bit there. Just because the screen slightly hangs by the D-pad. Okay, so I think that is as straight as I can get it. The ribbon cable is on the left side here, and I've pushed it as far left as possible. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the PCB board, and this is where I can control the different display types and brightness. So this sticks on like so. I'm just going to connect this ribbon cable on here. Try not to put too much force. So you should have something that looks like this. Stick the board down onto the screen so it doesn't keep moving about. It's not very sticky, so I'm going to use something else. Okay, so I've got some insulated black electrical tape here. I'm just going to use this instead. There we go, this is just to hold the PCB in place. Next, I need to stick the touch pads. So the left, I think, changes the color palette, the right changes, or on reverse, sorry, the left will change the color palette and the right will change the brightness. This can be quite tricky because you have to be extra careful with these connectors, because once one of these comes off you're going to have to re-solder spare ones that I've got, although they should give you some spare ones. If not, it's just a tiny little red wire. I can't remember, this might be like a 2mm thickness, maybe less than that. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Okay, I might just put a little bit of tape here so then this wire doesn't keep moving. Alright, so we can now put the board back on. Once the board is kind of placed back, you want to be careful with the LCD ribbon cable here. not to fold it or bend it, because these can be quite fragile. You just want to sort of curl into the connector here rather than fold in it. It's probably best if I install it first and then put the board on. Okay, it looks pretty flush to me, so it was easier to flip it and then install the ribbon cable, then slowly flip it back rather than trying to bend it into the connector here. Gonna put our power button back on. Now these screws are a bit worn, so I've got to be careful not to tighten them too much and ruin the thread on them, because once the thread goes, the screw needs to be drilled out. I'm not going to overly tighten these screws just in case there isn't much room with the new screen and it might crack something, so just be aware of that when you reassemble everything back together. Okay, I'm just going to put the batteries in before I put all the screws on. Make sure the ribbon cable is seated properly, because yeah, something has come loose, I think. Okay, so I figured out the problem, and basically the connection from the LCD screen to the PCB board had come off somehow while I was putting it back in, so always double check whether the screen is working before you put all the screws in. I also noticed that the double-sided tape where I put at the top bit here, you could slightly see where I had taped it, so I kind of adjusted it and moved it up a bit. So now we should have a fully functional IPS Gameboy Color. It's just a case of putting the tri-point screws back in. Batteries are in. Let's try out some Warrior Land. Look good so far. Can change the color palette by pressing this side. It's super clear as well, the IPS screen. You can change the brightness on the left side. So yeah, I'm happy with the results. This is a full screen display as well, because you can get some of these LCD replacements and the screen is kind of, you lose like 2mm I think. So the good thing is that this is a full screen display, and then I have the spare original screen here, which I can keep as parts just in case I come across a broken one. So yeah, that is pretty much it. That is how you install a new IPS screen on the Gameboy Color. And this might not be the same for you because you can get several different LCD screens. Like I said, you can get smaller ones, which means you don't have to cut any of the shell out just to fit it in. Or you can get one like mine where it's a full screen IPS. I will put a link in the description below where to get one. I actually got this from AliExpress and it only cost me around £25, but then at least £6 shipping I think it was, so roughly 30 odd pounds, and it arrived within 2 weeks, which is good. I have seen other similar ones where instead the PCB board goes along here rather than at the top, but I believe that you have to flatten out some of the connectors on the Gameboy board in order to squeeze it in. So this one is actually hassle free. Like I said, the only thing I had to do is cut out some of the bits in the shell. And the problem with this transparent one here, this glow in the dark green transparent one, is you can kind of see where I've gone about and cut at the top part of the D-pad here. Kind of comes through, so be aware of that if you do get a transparent one that doesn't have pre-cut. You will notice that this bit here is slightly a different shade because it's been cut. So yeah, I hope this tutorial has been useful for you guys, and yeah, if you do have any questions please comment below. So yeah, just a quick change of the Gameboy Color screen using an IPS one that has different modes. So thanks for watching guys, and I will see you again on another tutorial.